I'm proud to have with us the Dean for Health Sciences from Rafael Landívar in Guatemala City. We're proud of what we've done here in Phoenix with our campus here. But there they have a campus of 40,000 students, and a third of those are in his school. So he has more than 10,000 students in his school, a little bigger than us, just a little bit. And it's really done an incredible job building up a premier program in Guatemala. But Dr. López, Edgar López Álvarez, did his medical training, did medical school in Guatemala at the prestigious Francisco Marroquín University. And he must have done very well because his next step was to do a residency in Cedars-Sinai in Miami in internal medicine, and then on to Cleveland Clinic where he did critical care fellowship. And he's continued to improve himself over the years. He got a master's degree from Rafael Landívar in medical education. He's an educator at heart and really a humanitarian as well. They have campuses all over Guatemala, all throughout their country. He says north, south, east, west, you name it, they have campuses. I think 9, you said, 9 different campuses throughout that. We have one, right? We're okay. But they have a much bigger enterprise. And I think they told us they have 19 residencies. We do. I thought we had pretty robust residencies here, but we don't have 19. We're not even close to that. So an incredible medical education that's going on there, not just medical school, but nursing, physical therapy, occupational therapy, pharmacy, lots of other professions that he's in charge of. So we're honored to have him here to speak to us, continuing our effort to be an internationally minded school, reaching out to other countries. They do the same thing in Guatemala, and we're honored to have someone here who can teach us about what they're doing there in Guatemala. So without further ado, Dr. López, please come and speak to us.
Thank you much, Randy. I think that this is, do you think? Well, first of all, thank you very much, Dean Randy, members of the board, and really for you all, it's an honor for me to be with you sharing this talk today. It's a real honor. And I'm getting with me regards from your home, Guatemala. Look at the title of my talk. This reminds me when I first came to the Mount Sinai Medical Center for my residency. And at that time, I met a great guy, a great professor, that through the years we have been very close. He's not anymore with us. But he took special attention to the ones coming from other countries. And we had an interview, a first interview. And in the interview for all different residents, he asked that question. And he said, what is the great doctor truly made? You're coming here and you will find in the Mount Sinai Medical Center or any other institutions where you're going to go through high-tech, up-to-date protocols, while you're coming and in environments of community where you have been working. So once again, where is the great doctors truly made? And if I would ask the questions to any of you, very easy, the ones who can do it, what would you say? Where?
Like this.
Very good. In places like this with good mentors. What do you say? Creighton, very good. I love that. What about you? Hospital as well, very good. What about in that table? At home, very good. How about there? This table, yes. In the community services as well, very good. How about here? Where? Helping anyone, very good, very good. And how about that? Interacting with the population? Very good. Well, I think that all the responses that I have today are about right. We didn't answer. He answered for us. And at that time, his answer was, I believe, is in the intersection of both. Well, the message behind that was actually we need different things in order to accomplish that. And in this question, particularly, he was talking about technology compared to what we have learned or have in our countries at that time, and the environment of the community where we were from. Well, he was referring to both. Well, from that question on, it took to me to have many tales for the future. And we appointed tales of two worlds. In the first one, we remind with the idea at that time of having high-tech systems. And at that time, many years ago, no centuries, but many years, we were talking about the evidence-based medicine. And that was something that it was like the excellency, academically speaking. Technological abundance. We did have at those times in Latin America and in our country, very easy labs, x-rays, very easy things. And we got the specialization. We were coming from places in which the real scenarios with patients in the communities had made us working with resource-limited settings, but having a huge human context. Talking about specialization, I have to tell you this story. The dean of my medical school, his dad has been previously the president of the country. They were coming from a family that produces the sugar. And now it's one of the biggest in Latin America up to today, well, the next generations. But because of political situations, they have to left the country. And when they left the country, all the family went into Paris. When the dad passed, the older brother took him, and he came to MIT, to Harvard Med School, and that's how he got his degree. Then he went in to be trained at the General Mass in Boston. Then after a while, he decided to go to Guatemala. And over there, he worked very hard for the people of tuberculosis, who was a big issue at that time in the country. And he performed a procedure for treating surgically wise the tuberculosis of the country. Recently, last year, I saw as patient one of the kids, the last kids that he did surgery at that time. Well, when I came to the country, one day he asked me to accompany him because he was not feeling well. He was suffering from the past 6 months of an arrhythmia. And he has gone through many cardiologists, internists, doctors, and the arrhythmia was getting worse. So he talked to me and said, well, listen, I found this doctor that his main field is working on arrhythmias, and he is working at the Cleveland Clinic. You know him? And of course, I was recently left the clinic, so I knew him. So we went there. And they recommend a guy to see my dean. After a week, they made a procedure. There was a valve problem, and that was the reason of his arrhythmia. So they developed an ablation. At that time, probably was one of the first ablations done. And Dr. Saliba. And he got cured. So at the end of the week, I got a call. We were about to check. And he said, Edgar, will you mind to come with me? Because I want to say thanks to this fine doctor that really cured me. And we went over there. It was a Japanese doctor. And my dean said, listen, I trained myself years ago at Harvard. I went through MIT. I'm impressed of what you've done. I have gone for these past 6 months suffering, and in a week, I'm cured. So I have been interested in two things. Going back to my country to help, and I have been treating through surgery tuberculosis for a while. I have developed an introduction of private practice, and I've been interested in academic. So I would like to know where you were trained. So the doctor said, well, I did my med school in Japan at Santa Sofia University, which as a matter of fact is a Jesuit school in Japan. And then I applied for my, at that time, it was named ECFMG exam. So I passed it, and I got my internal medicine training at Mayo Clinic in Rochester. Then I wanted to become a cardiologist. So I applied at Johns Hopkins, and I finished my cardiology training. And finally, I want to go through electrophysiology, and they request me to come to the Cleveland Clinic, and that's me. So I remember that Dr. Herrera said, well, first of all, thank you very much. You cure me, and you treat me with such a humanity part that in top of what you did for me, I'm grateful. But secondly, I'm been so glad to came so far to see the doctor because of my heart, because of the arrhythmia. And I'm not coming here because I have a problem in one of my fingers. Because otherwise, I might have come to see the doctor of the ring of the finger of the right hand, or the doctor of the finger of the left hand. Well, that's the self-specialization. In community care, we have those scenarios with real patients, and we have to get involved not only with patients. Guatemala is little. You're able to have your cell, and look at the map. It's a very tiny country, very little. And in between the country, we have 22 states. We have 22 languages. Among the 22 states, we have even inside a little bit of different cultures. And we are exposed while going to the med school to those places, to those people. They have been there since ever. They have their own ways of living. They have the midwives. They have the doctors. They have their own medicine. And it seems like it has been working for many times. In the elite, which was the word that was used by my program director, at that time, the top was evidence-based medicine. Up to today, when we talk about those big places, of course, it's still true that those places are world-class clinical protocols developed. And those are a need because they gave us standards, evidence-driven procedures developed at high levels of international medical institutions worldwide. The sub-specialization at highest levels, and unlimited technological support. When we talk about technology today, sky is the limit. What defines world-class medical training then? When we have talking a little bit about these three issues: clinical rigor, technology, specialization. Okay? And that's what we want. We want to get the best of the system, the best we can get. Because even if you are in Africa, even if you are in India, if you are in Guatemala, if you are in the States, you need the best. You need to learn the best because you want someday to give the best to the patient. Right? The reality over there, learning to be a real doctor. Well, return to Guatemala was really a conscientious choice for purpose. The dean of my med school did it. Some of us, we have done it, okay? And one thing that I liked it very much to share with you today is this sentence. here in the community, I learned to be a doctor of the people, for the people. In this new environment, patients transitions from clinical cases to a complete human context. You need to learn, and you need to know a little about the culture. You need to know a little about all those details, being exposed to those things. And Rafael Andívar, our university, has becoming like a bridge in between that technical mastery and authentical care. We're receiving up to today for having the experience for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, sometimes a complete clerkship rotation, foreign students. And day by day, it has been becoming international. And that's something good to know, especially beginning with another language. And even for us, don't worry, because we do speak Spanish officially over there. But I told you a moment ago that we have 22 states and 22 languages. In reality, the doctor must learn to diagnose using their senses, the patient history, the human touch. That would never change. I visit today, this morning, your school, your hospital. I was impressed particularly with St. Vincent Paul Clinic. That was amazing. I got astonished. I was not even surprised. I got impressed, really impressed of what you have here. So to those who, when I asked the question to you this at the beginning of the conference about where do you think it's the place where to get the best training, and you say Creighton, you are right. You are right. You choose it very well. Developing clinical judgment beyond the machine is very important, and it's something to be considered. These are medical students like you. These are students for the first year. And since the first year, we have a program that has to do with community engagement. And apart from your basic sciences classes that are ongoing during the first 3 years, we have this program under what is called community interaction, in which you go in groups and you go inside the communities. The school has been running for the past 30 years. And through those 30 years, now the people are waiting, the students, from Rafael Andívar, because they have been the doctors of the grandparents, the doctors of the parents. And now they are seeing the new kids coming to the communities. We have gone to a hard work trying to integrate their community leaders, the midwives, the persons against vaccines, for example, locally, the persons that have deal with the natural Guatemalan communities medications, and just make them feel that we're not a competence, that we want to learn from them, and we have. The community health engagement of Universidad Rafael Andívar is true since the first year. Over there is where students from international different places are coming to join our students, accompany them for a week or 2 weeks or a month or whatever over there. And it's a nice ways to develop. We get to use those. Then we have getting friends, including the pets of the families. The gap, two worlds rarely connected. In the elite system, in which we all agree that it's necessarily, definitely, we need that. Just be careful, because it might have the risk of losing human touch. Can provoke in us massive tech dependency. Reality only? Well, limited access to modern tools. lack of global standardization. So the problem might be not the system. It's training doctors with only one of them. Might be necessarily, definitely both to be connected. We have been trying to work through years in this model of, and the university has been served as a bridge in which, in a global curriculum, we're trying to integrate communities. I want you to look at the two beautiful ladies over there, and I want you to describe their customs. What do you see when you look at their customs? Do you think they are alike? They look the same? They look a little bit different? What do you think? Different colors? Very well. What else? What else do you see? They're happy? Very good. But that has been in common for both. What else do you see? Well, these two girls are coming from different villages, different communities. The one at, looking at the picture at the right, is coming from Quetzaltenango, Xela. This is the closest part to Mexico. And the other one is coming from the highland in Guatemala. The one coming from the highlands in Guatemala, it's a Quechí. That's the name of her child. She speaks Quechí. And she is a nurse, and she is in charge. She is the coordinator of the clinical and hospital practice for nurses of the Arena Highlands. And the one at the right is a doctor. She's an MD. She is a physician. She's a family practice. And she's helping us with the programs of nutrition, physiotherapy, and nursery in Quetzaltenango. They were students at the university. Now they are professors. They have been involved, but they both, among their own languages, they speak Spanish, of course, but both speaks fluent English. And the one at my left speaks French also. And she's in charge of receiving the foreign students that come for a short experience in those communities over there. At the end, we need to work in integrating science and humanism. Excellency is not determined by geography, but by training. The intersection of rigorous sciences and genuine human compassion is where the doctor of the future is for. We do not need for the future doctors training in perfect systems. We need doctors capable of moving between imperfect systems with excellency. Up to today, we are global, we're human, we've got to be flexible. Thank you very much.
Any questions for Dr. Lopez about his work there in Guatemala? Have any of you visited Guatemala? Raise your hand. We got any visitors? No one in the room? I did. I went. And it was such a...
Randy.
Yes.
No, you.
Yeah. It was such a privilege, incredible privilege to go and visit a bunch of engaged students and faculty. I was honored to go and visit their campus. Yes. Awesome. Did you hear that?
Oh, you need to write my phone number. This is seriously. Okay, go ahead with your phone. Technology. Plus 502. Okay. 40173026. So send me a WhatsApp and then we'll be connected. Where are you going? Where? Oh, San Lucas. Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? When I was coming with Dean Randy this afternoon after lunch, he was introducing me to the gallery and all this. He's going to say, Randy, Guatemala. Tell them.
Did you notice the picture out there that we've had ever since back 2012 is when we put that up on Norton Manor. It's of Guatemala. He immediately recognized it and said, "That's a picture from Guatemala," and he was right. That's John Norton took that picture years ago and gave it as a gift to our campus.
It's going to be a pleasure to have you.
Is it Project Cura? Yes, awesome. Is Doug Jones going with you? Who's the faculty going? Minnesota. Okay. Awesome. There's a good connection, opportunity, right? Right there.
Right.
That's
of
awesome.
Course. Good to be a honor.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
We ought to try and get some of your students to go with them to do whatever they're going to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to meet.
Okay. Well, I'd like to bring you up here and just give you a token of our appreciation for what you've done in sacrificing. Really, Dr. Lopez is an ambassador all over the world for global health collaboration and working together to figure out solutions for how we can treat people in need. You know, and we share that in common. As a Jesuit university, another Jesuit university, we have the same mission, we have the same values, and it's such an honor to have you here with us, to come and grace our campus with your presence and your message. We thank you for that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Don't forget, Guatemala is home,
Yeah.
and Rafael Landívar is your home.
Yes, a question.
So my question for you would be, what was the biggest challenge you faced transitioning from training in the United States and going back home? And what would be your suggestion for our RUPE scholars who might be interested in global health, how they can help overcome that challenge?
Good. Thank you. I think I'm using this. Well, decisions are not easy sometimes. But I think that if you grew up thinking that you should be a doctor for the people, you might have that in mind. And I think that we are, in a little bit, making a contribution to the country. The country up to today is not the same country as 25 years ago. And I hope it's going to change. You got to have a commitment. You have to keep in mind that the medical world today is international. It's not my world. It's not my knowledge. This is an international world. And for going into international, you got to be open to cultures. You need to be open to find out. I'm coming recently from Africa, from Ghana. And I was just impressed of what I saw. And hopefully we're going to get some students also from Ghana. So commitment would be my response.
Awesome. Thank you. Other questions for Dr. Lopez? Yes, Jessica. Dr. Seaman.
I thought it would be nice for you to explain to a lot of our learners that sometimes you get students that are 16 years old, 17 years old that are starting with you right out of high school. Can you kind of talk through the procedure at your university?
Yes. Well, in Guatemala, you go to elementary and then you go to high school. And after you are done in high school, you do not go to college. You go directly, you can apply at the university, okay? So that's how we started. For getting into, and sometimes there are students that just finished the high school being 16. So it's in the next year that are going to be 17. So we're talking about young population. So we do have an exam, we have an interview, we have assigned tutors since the beginning. So to find out a little bit more about first being sure. And in the first 3 years, we have basic sciences. So there is still a chance in order to find out if that's really what you want. Up to today, we have received applications of in between 500 and 600 applicants for each year. We are able to take only 200. So if that helps with that response, that's how we do it.
Awesome. Other questions? When I went there, I was introduced to something I'd never heard of before. It was a nuncio.
Oh,
Can you explain to him what a nuncio is?
well, we are a Jesuit school, okay? So that means we're Catholic and the university has been running by Jesuits, okay? Jesuits are like the Salesians or Franciscans. Among all the countries, the Pope, who is the head of the Catholic Church, assigns an ambassador to each country that is appointed el nuncio. So for the United States, you have a nuncio whose office is in DC because it's the capital, the center of all the country. So nuncio is very close to us. And in big ceremonies like the one in which Randy was attending the opening lecture, nuncio has been, by the way, nuncio is in, would you mind to pass me the control? Thank you. There. Here. Here is nuncio. So I was blessing in between nuncio and the dean, Randy. That's the nuncio.
Yes, thank you. I thought his prayer was particularly memorable to me. He prayed at the beginning of this inaugural lecture for the beginning of the year that we would continue to work to alleviate suffering amongst people. And I just thought that was so on point as to what we're trying to accomplish here with Creighton. And it was an honor to meet a nuncio. It really was. He was you could tell he was a holy man. And I was impressed
He was
by
an
him.
extraordinary man. And he's coming. He enjoyed it very much coming to the med school because he is actually from the Philippines. And his 3 brothers are doctors practicing in the States. LA, 2 of them, and 1 in Miami. And the 4th is also a doctor and anesthesiologist in the Philippines.
All right. Last chance. Questions for Dr. Lopez? All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.